This is AndyTube. This video I'm going to show you how I grease the disc driving worm wheel before I put it back in. And this video is a follow-up to the other disc driving worm wheel video that I did about my shortcut method to remove it and reinstall it. And especially to clean out all the old oil and grease and dirt all around it and under it. And I had mentioned in that about how I grease this before I put it back in. So that's why I wanted to show you that. Now I just finished putting up the video of how to wash, dry, and lube it. And in that video I showed about using a brush to get the tri-flow clear synthetic grease onto and into the worm gear on the main horizontal arm shaft. And that worm gear is what mates up with this gear wheel, I kind of call it, of the disc driving worm wheel. So I've got the worm gear part greased up, and now I'm going to grease this up and put it back in. Before I do that, I'm going to show you some slides here of the area where this goes. Sits inside the Bight Amplitude Selector. And I'm going to show you before cleaning and after cleaning. And the same thing with this. And to clean this, I just set it in a plastic cup with some of the diluted crud cutter cleaner. So I got a little picture of that sitting in there and turning the cleaner black as it got all this stuff off. So I'm going to show you those slides. And while I move the, I'm going to show you those slides. Then we'll come back. So, what do you think of that? I'm hoping that if you have not made up your mind about removing this, that those slides encourage you to do that. And if you were very doubtful about doing it before, I still want to encourage you to do it if you see the before and after. And those of you that did do it, you must feel pretty justified now with how great everything is looking down in there. Right? So, I mentioned before, I use this inexpensive acrylic artist paintbrush because it's stiffer than like the watercolor. And I just put the grease on here and then brush it onto gears when I do them. Now you could do your you can do your finger too if you'd rather, or a craft stick, a popsicle stick, something like that, and that's good. Whatever it takes to get it on there. You just want to keep it on the teeth of the gears, because anything that's not on the teeth of the gears doesn't do much to lubricate the gear, So because you're only going to do this a couple times in your lifetime, I put more grease on this than I do like the drive gears and the hook gears. They're a lot bigger gear, they're a lot deeper teeth and stuff, and this is a good quality gear, and it adheres, it sticks pretty good compared to other greases that tend to come off of the gears pretty easily and get tossed around, especially as they warm up. And so if it looks like I'm putting a lot on compared to my other gears, you're right. And for those of you who think I'm not putting nearly enough on, don't forget that I've put a nice thick layer of grease in the gaps between the teeth of the arm shaft worm gear. So believe me, between these two greasings, I have got a ton of grease on these gears, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera and the machine around here, and we'll get to putting that in. I know I already showed you how to do this, and I'll put a link to that disc driving worm gear video, and I'll put a link to the wash dry lube video in case you just came to this video and have not seen those others. I can put the link at the end of the video and in the description area below the video, and I will do that. Okay, isn't that a beautiful thing? It's my newest bright, shiny object. Okay, so if you haven't seen this before, or just as a reminder, I've removed this pivot and stop arm off of this selector bracket and post here. And the reason that I do that is so that I can tilt this selection lever way up. I've maneuvered it out of the rear follower, and I can tilt it way up and over to the left. You know, it doesn't go a lot farther left, but it goes enough. And by pulling this up as high as I can get this disc driving worm gear down on the shaft, and there we go. And making sure that it's down, I can rotate this, and I can have that grease on the worm gear meshing with the grease on the worm wheel, and happy. Right? Okay, and then if you haven't seen this the worm wheel video, I have you go take a look at it, so you can see how to remove and replace all the parts. Basic pivot with the stop arm. Stop arm goes in the slot, the pivot goes on the shaft like that, and then tighten. It tightens with this one screw on the side, and when you set it down in there, you'll see that it sits, the stop arm sits in the slot, and you tighten it up. And that is pretty much how you can get that in and out. So please, like I said, I'll put the links to the disc driving worm wheel video and the link to the wash, dry, and lube video in case you haven't seen that. But that's exactly how I lube that gear wheel on the bottom before I put it down in there. And they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So in the other video, because I hadn't cleaned anything yet, I only mentioned about greasing it. And that's the deal right there. Thanks for watching that. That was just a little quick one to make up for my last one being such an epically long video. Thanks for watching. I hope you come back for the next video in the series.